before. Introducing Racing X.
Chautauqua very late. Can he do it? Chautauqua, he's flying.
Right side throw, touchdown. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang!
Green scores. Yes, she got up.
He's just perfect. And that's
Sweet it is. Collingwood win the grand final.
It's time!
Welcome to Racing X, soon to be the most entertaining and disruptive media platform in racing. And welcome to our very first episode of Racing Xtra. Now, we've had a bit of fun with our soft launch over the last few weeks, and we're super excited to be working alongside some of the biggest names in racing and sport. From Bruce Buffer joining us as the official voice of Racing X, to our upcoming exclusive episode of Drop Zone with jockey James McDonald, as well as some of the huge guests we have lined up, including your favourite racing figures, athletes, and massive personalities. Joining me each week is the best jockey to never ride a Group 1 winner and self-proclaimed punting god Luke Dittman. And for the very first episode of Racing Xtra, we thought who better to welcome in than our founder himself, Sterling Cincotta, and Racing X ambassador, Jeffress. Welcome to Racing X, boys.
We're here.
Finally. So Sterl, we all love the racing industry. It's provided us all jobs in an industry that we love, and we've all had a few wins on the punt. But there's no denying that this industry has been asleep at the wheel in attracting a new audience.
Yeah.
So hence why Racing X was born. Can you tell us how Racing X is going to reinvigorate this space?
Yeah, Bill, I think you said it right. Racing has been asleep at the wheel. What we want to do is basically bring a real entertainment factor to the sport. Don't rely so much on the punting side, not so much on the die-hard racing side. Focus more on that light entertainment, bringing in some exclusive interviews, more of that party, up-tempo vibe to racing. Because at the end of the day, we want to attract new people to the sport, which is super important. There's that engaging of the youth, bringing them through, getting them to fall in love with the game of racing, not so much the punt of racing. And so that's something I'm passionate about. And so if we can bring him in early and we can keep him for, 10, 15, 20 years, that's the goal. That's where I want to see Racing X. It's basically like an entertainment style of offering that doesn't really have to rely on it's either punting or I'm part of the game.
Absolutely, and I know you've got some big events planned. Like you said, we've got massive guests. We also have great support from some great industry leaders. Can you talk us through who we're involved with?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're lucky enough to have some corporate sponsorship from great businesses such as Corpshaw, insurance broking on the Gold Coast. They've got offices in Sydney and also in Cairns. We did do a little sneaky mission to Cairns a couple of weeks ago, which our viewers will see soon.
Thank you, J-Mac.
That was a lot of fun. And we've got Never Quit on board, Pickering's Auto Luxury Garage on board. We've got some great cars for our podcast guests in the coming weeks, which is a nice little treat for them. Tenacity Cranes are on board for all your lifting needs. And look, we expect many more to jump on board as we start to progress. And that's part of, again, what we're trying to do is bridge that aspect between non-racing people and bring them into the sport.
Now, Jack, you've joined us as an ambassador here at Racing X. We're not just racing, we're all things lifestyle, health, fitness, sport. Can you tell us what you're bringing to Racing X? What do you plan?
Of course, yeah. Sterling said he wants to make the racing industry fun, exciting, and big. And I'm kind of hoping that together we can bridge the gap from what I offer and what I believe in on the Gold Coast, which is, that healthy balance between a fit and fun lifestyle, and also having a good crack on the weekends here and there, being fun. So I'm hoping that together we can bridge that gap with people more my age, more my demographic, and really make this thing like shine and grow, because I do believe in it. It's going to be bloody awesome. So
we do have the first Group 1 racing of the season. I want to know who we're looking forward to this season. Is there anyone that's standing out to you want to follow? Stel, who are you following?
Look, the obvious are the superstars that finished off the autumn in in great fashion. You know, obviously you've got the Pride of Jenny story, which, you know, we don't need to talk about, the 32 or 38 lengths in front in the QE. So keen to see how she comes back. That's all obviously from an owner's perspective. When you put a horse out, you always got your fingers crossed that they're going to come back, you know, better than when they went out. So keen to see her. There was a filly that won on debut from Chris Waller on the weekend, Autumn Glow. I'm keen to see where she can get to this prep.
Pricely filly too, wasn't she?
Yeah, well, she almost a couple $1 million. Yeah. So I'm keen to see where she ends up.
Jack, who are you looking forward to seeing?
I'm aiming big here. I'm hoping we pick the next Winx, maybe. You know, something that comes through and just wins race after race. I know it's probably not going to happen for another, God, maybe 15 to 20. We might never even see it again, but I wouldn't mind seeing someone just come out and blow us away and just dominate the field.
You know, just win,
Yeah.
Continually.
I love it.
Luke, who are you looking forward to?
The racing kid in me wants to see Pride of Jenny, emulate her last season, obviously, but I think the racing realist in me doesn't think she can, but that's an interesting one for me. And second one is I'd like to see an Aussie or a New Zealand bred horse win the Melbourne Cup. Look, it's harder these days, the European or the Japanese stars come across. But yeah, I'd like to see at least a decent Australian representative in a Melbourne Cup this year, and if we can sort of fly that flag, because it's been taken off us a few years in a row, would be nice.
All right, so Group 1 racing. We've also got the final week of the AFL home and away season. Massive weekend of sport. Everyone's highlights, go.
For me, it's the Swannies to keep it rolling. They got back on track last week against the Bombers. I guess they've probably got to do it against a top 2, top 3 team to be really convincing. But look, I'm there. I reckon they're there on grand final day. Swannies for me.
Jack, what are you looking forward to?
It's obviously I want to see the Lions win, but the last 3 weeks have really thrown a spanner in the works. The Lions going down a couple of times, dropping a few places. It's a bit disappointing. We had a pretty close grand final rematch on the weekend with Collingwood. I think they lost by 1 point, wasn't it?
Very tough.
So look, I just want to see Lions there. If you had asked me a few weeks ago, I would have said GWS, Lions, grand final, big dance.
Alrighty, before we start uproar in Melbourne, I'm going to call it a wrap on this week's preview episode of Racing Extra. Next week, we have a huge episode planned with a very special guest that I think our audience is going to love. So follow, subscribe, stay tuned, and get in on the action.